Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dragonborn McQueen. It wouldn't be fair of me to do a sort of in-depth analysis of the beta or talk about the problems or issues. I've sort of done a good glowing side without doing a bad side, but there certainly have been bad sides and things that have sort of happened that have raised my raised my anxiety levels, should we say. There's some aspects that I'm apprehensive about, especially as they are key components ingrained into the system of the game. For example, last night, the person I happened to be gaming with, and it's on my live stream, wanted me to go and do an enclave mission with him, so I went and did this and just helped him out. And the area blew up, and there was all these explosions going off, and it would have been magnificent, except the frame rate was destroyed. It felt like I was on the set of an 80s BBC special effects department. You know, it was all like jerky and really slow and awful. The frame rate was just desecrated. I mean, at times there are huge frame rate drops. It's the same problems that the Creation Engine has had for years, and they seem to be present here. Also, I've heard of issues where the cars are still falling through scenery, and that's because things like bridges, larger objects are rendered after smaller objects like cars, and in the distance they're sort of created or come into view, and therefore the cars just fall through bridges. And that was in Fallout 4, and it's still present apparently here. The other issues that I've seen, I mean, the main issue with the frame rate drop was big explosions. I mean, if it can't handle it, and you're right near an area that's going to get nuked, and you happen to be very close to where the nuke goes off, just think about how dramatic and amazing experience that'd be if you're in power armor and everything else and you manage to survive, but you're right there. If the frame rate drops and that, it's going to take everything. The impact is just going to be confusion, really. Another issue we've had is where we've been in an area and we've had to defend the area because we've taken over a workshop in an area, and here where you can see that palace is where this happened. And because it's spawning enemies really close to us, frame rate drops again, and then you just get slow movement. It makes combat more awkward and sluggish, and you can't quite react. Tend to find you die easily. I mean, I've said I have good enough internet. I should be streaming okay. I should be doing all right and stuff and things. So it shouldn't be running that badly. I don't have a PS4 Pro though, so I'm just running a standard PS4. It should be optimized, so it should be able to run on the PlayStation. It's hopefully something they'll sort out by launch, although I'm not sure. I hope it is sorted. I really do. I'm ever optimistic. We've got 2 more beta sessions left, Tuesday and Thursday, right on English tea time. Good going, Bethesda. So that'll be really useless and annoying for us. And other things I found, some of it is quite good. I mean, the combat with pre-established creatures like mole rats, fairly good, although sometimes you still got the mole rat issue where they'll look like they're half in and out, half out of their hole, and they're actually the computer thinks they're underground. That's still in my version of Fallout 4, and it should be sorted. These issues are, if the mole rats don't work properly, don't put them in there. I mean, I believe other creatures for us to deal with, and I mean, a lot of it is repurposed assets from Fallout 4, the engine of Fallout 4. Look here, repurposed assets all over there. Every single bit in the back of that truck's new, but everything else repurposed. Scenery, everything else. I mean, what happened here with Bethesda was they kind of created something they were playing in the office, and they all thought, oh, this is quite good, perhaps we should release it. But I think the deadline they've given themselves and the undertaking and that, a bit too much. Yeah, here's me messing with photo mode. I mean, photo mode is alright. It's no worse or no better than any other. I just wish I could have more control over the aperture and such like. But, you know, like a real photography, I mean, if you want a good photo mode, Horizon Zero Dawn has a fantastic photo mode, and that's a big open world game, RPG, and that plays really well. The combat is smooth and the action's a lot and such like, and I like this and I enjoy it. I always had the idea of playing a photographer type character, and I was going to make him a rifle character, so he had a sharp eye, but I'd become a melee build because stuff carrying around loads of ammo, That's another thing. The weight issue is the usual thing. It'd be nice if backpacks were given to us. There needs to be some sort of some kind of trade-off in. People were saying about the microtransactions in the Atom shop working, and they probably kind of work on the PC, but I purchased something, an icon, and then like next game session it says I haven't got that anymore, and I was like, it was of the Nuka Girl, because you probably know I quite like Nuka-Cola and that aspect of things in the Fallout universe. I love the joke way it pokes fun at corporations. But yeah, the issues, the frame rate issue is a huge issue. For the most part, the enemies are quite good, and while they're jumping about between us, it was interesting. This is the first time we met one of these weird mole creatures, and this is the one and only one we meet. Sort of mutated mole person who decides to try and punch me, and I'm like, I've got a knife, mate. Although that knife is rubbish. But that was my own choice. I find something much, much, much better later on, but that's by and by, really. That's gameplay. The gameplay mechanics don't feel that stilted. People are saying the enemies feel strange. There was points where I would shoot an enemy in the distance and it just wouldn't react and the bullet wouldn't reach them. It seems very, very, very localized, the combat, and you can't shoot any distance, not even the distance you could in Fallout 4, which is upsetting, because there's absolutely no chance of making a sniper build. Excuse me, I was just adjusting my hat there. There's a new asset. I wouldn't mind so much if it was all repurposed assets, or not all repurposed assets, but mostly repurposed assets, and the gameplay and the mechanics were a bit smoother. Now I've spent a bit more time with it. I've noticed that you try and shoot something in a distance. I don't play a gun build, but I was using a shotgun. Occasionally I'd pick up a pistol or something, just try and shoot something to get its attention, to get it to run towards me, and the bullet would just sort of disappear into thin air before it hit them. It didn't even, register that it got close to them. Yeah, I could see the enemy, but the enemy would be standing there. I was like, perhaps if I shoot it would come into life. Moments like that sort of disjoint you and take you out of the immersion of what you're doing. Also, when your friend sort of floats around you like that, like you just saw, that takes you out of what you're doing. And I found someone who I often game with and he's quite good, and we work quite well as a team, help each other. We often respawn. Also, when you respawn, there's no sort of consequence. You tend to die and then you can respawn exactly where you died and finish killing everything else. There's no sort of, right, you have to respawn and run back and take the area and make it more of a challenge and more of an opportunity. I think that could be, there's missed opportunities. It feels a lot like there is missed opportunities. Somebody mentioned seeing all the other players is a bit silly, because you know where everyone is, and then I think you should only see your teammates, really. So the pure act of coming upon someone is very much, I met someone and the first thing he said was, don't shoot. That kind of situation could be so much better if I didn't know. If I just look on my map, I'd have known he was there. But if the players aren't on the map, you don't know they're there, and you stumble upon them, it would have so much more meaning. And I think that's something Bethesda should definitely look at doing before launch, is removing only seeing where your team players are. Frame rate issues, draw distance, everything, it needs polishing. There are amazing bits, like something happened when we were here at this ski resort. We came back to it later on, higher up, and we did something, and it was just brilliant. We sort of were sussing something out, and all these super mutants had followed us up the hill, and came and attacked us. It took them quite some time, but they all sort of poured in. I don't know whether it was a scripted event or not, but we've been fighting these Scorched, and then all these super mutants poured in, and we were scrapping with them. And it's brilliant. It's really good, and took us by surprise. But that works where they're all flooding in and trying to take you quickly in a closed, localized area, inside buildings. But when you're out in the big open world, I find the Scorched probably behave the best in the open world areas, the newest ones they put in. So perhaps the AI needs tweaking for the open world in the other characters, and that's something that needs to be looked at, so that the sim mutants perhaps, but I think we need better distance. We need to be able to react. If I can see something and I can shoot at it, my bullets don't hit it, because there's an invisible wall outside of which it won't register the bullets. Is it to stop players picking off other players from miles away without them being seen? Well, that's part of the fun of it, That's part of and especially if you didn't know where that person was, but once they shoot you, perhaps now you get a rough. Well, no, actually, I don't think you should be giving away your location. I think that should be part of the game, the excitement. The moments where they can build tension, like you would as a storyteller in a role-playing game, or as a dungeon master, or however you want to call the person controlling the game, they seem lost. I remember years ago I used to do vampire stuff, and I happened to do a story in a house, and I had one friend, and we had all these werewolves trying to get in. He was playing a vampire character, obviously they're opposed, and I built the tension with sounds and things and describing all these things. There's none of that in this. There's no, although you just sort of charge around. Oh look, there's something. Shoot it, loot it, and go. Shoot, loot, and off. I like it. I like the social aspect of it. I like the multiplayer. I think it has potential. I just don't think it's fully realised yet. I think what Bethesda wanted to do, we've got to do this to keep this sector happy and these people happy, and people want this. I don't think they do, but I don't think we want quest marks and that. Although one thing that annoyed me, we did come across something, and the door was locked. We came across a vault, and it was amazing. It was this vault, and it looked totally different. The entrance, it was all overgrown, and I won't completely ruin it. And then there was like nothing. There was no way, no clue as how to get in, or anything that was going on, and it was all a bit bizarre. Also this as well. We saw these vertibirds, and then we were like, we did some more looting and stuff, and I said to my mate, do we want to follow them? We followed them, and we went, and there was no sign of them. There's nothing. There was not even people in the area, some brotherhood in the area, because there are no NPCs obviously, but nothing. Just the potential was there. Later on in the game as well, we went to find the moth person. There should have been something, even if there was a supply drop or something had fallen off one of the vertibirds, and we found it. We followed the direct path they followed. I don't know. There seems to be missed opportunities all over the place. That there could have been. I think there needs to be. A lot of people say that the NPCs, if you're going to have the Brotherhood, if you're going to have vertibirds flying ahead, you need people on the ground. This is where I said to him, let's go and follow it. And off we go. There needs to be that aspect in the game. There needs to be either have NPCs or don't. There seems to be a half-hearted, half-baked idea with the vertibirds flying over, but you can't interact with them. It's of no consequence. Well, why not? I mean, that may be something they'll explore in DLC. I hope it's something that will come into it, make the game a bit better and improve it in the future. Anyway, I've seen that I've been rambling for 15 minutes. It's a shame that I have to talk so negatively. I understand it's a beta. I understand it has it has a bit of work to do, and I think these really small beta sessions, they could probably be looking at a lot of the work and all the data and trying to make it a lot better. for the most part, the game does work well, you know, but it's just the bits that rip you out of that universe, and that should never be an issue. You shouldn't be ripped out of the world in any way. There should be a frame rate drop. There should be a car dropping through a bridge. There shouldn't be these issues where something happens, or a non-scripted event happens, and there's no consequence to it, or no follow-up, or no action. I mean, there's not even a holotape dropped on the floor or something, you know, in a supply drop or something. They drop a supply drop for, you know, with leaflets in, so explaining who they are or what their ideas are. Because there are supply drops in this, which is something I was like, oh god, supply drops. But I kind of understand why because they're trying to keep things fresh in the world. Although I don't see why they can't just have it so certain areas after a while just repopulate with objects for your character. You know, keep that local to your system. I don't quite know how programming works. I am not a programmer, but I kind of... Also, another thing, the final thing with camp, or when you take over a workshop, when you go into the build menu, huge lag, slow down with that sort of thing, and that's frustrating, that's annoying. It should be preempting when you go near a workshop and there's no enemies around. If the conditions are met that would allow you to access that workshop, it should be preloading in the fact that even if you don't access that workshop, it should be preloading it, ready in the background just to swap it out. Here's that mode for you. If you don't access that mode and you go away, it then gets rid of that data. It's quite easy to, well, I say it's quite easy. That's the sort of thing I'd do in Little Big Planet if I was making a level. And, you know, I'm talking about a game with simple logic, but you can do that in Little Big Planet 3. 9 probably slightly more complicated, but I would think programmers would know how to do it. Anyway, I'm running out of space, I'm running out of time, I'm running out of everything else on my video. So I'd love to know what you think, and I'd love to know what your thoughts are if you've been involved in quite a few beta sessions of the PS4 or the PC since launch. I know that the PC owners were having issues with frame rates tied to logic, and that or you know, game that was causing issues. Hopefully that's something they'll sort by launch. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and oh yeah, if you enjoyed this, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, and leave comments, or let me know your feedback. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.